Hello and welcome to your first lecture. And the first lecture is of course going to be about the basics of essay writing. I welcome you all and I congratulate all of you to be in this course, in this program, and for bestowing faith in me. And I will help you and guide you. I will be your sole point of contact, your mentor, your navigator for scoring well in essay writing. All right. So in the introduction, there are a couple of things which I want to tell you. So I'm going to quickly discuss in 3 to 4 small videos about the basics of essay writing, about the structure of essay writing, about the techniques of essay writing. It becomes very important. इससे पहले कि हम advanced level पे आपके lectures शुरू करें, this is also very important to discuss. So therefore, I'm going to quickly discuss about some basic hacks as far as essay writing is concerned. Since it's a foundation course, so therefore I don't expect कि एकदम से आपका level में, या I don't expect कि आप एकदम से अपना level ऊपर ले जाएंगे, because we will take things very organically and very slowly. But first, I'm assuming that none of you, जितने भी बच्चे यहाँ पे हैं, none of you has ever written any lecture on essay writing. Maybe you have never written an essay after 10th or 12th, or maybe it's been 5-6 years you have never written an essay. So what are the important things which you need to keep in mind? The basics of essay writing. Now what do you understand by essay? Now your conventional understanding of the essay, perhaps school में, college में, sir हमको essay मिलता था, my best friend, my neighbor, this, that. या थोड़ा सा हम 10th और 12th में हुए तो हमको थोड़ा सा एडवांस लेवल का ऐसे मिलना शुरू हो गया which was talking about a certain theme, लेकिन सर वो ऐसे हमको 150 या 200 words में लिखना था. Then sir, I'm also preparing for other exams like the banking exams or maybe the the other exams conducted by UPSC जिसमें essay writing, pressy writing एक important component होता है. Anything. So therefore your understanding about essay must be there. However, the understanding of the essay which you have based upon whatever essay you've written in school, college, or some other competitive examination, the understanding here is going to be entirely different. Because let's understand one thing. You have been taught that, look, you need to have a very good grammar, you need to have a very rosy vocabulary in the essay, right? No, that's not required. Yes, of course, grammar formation is something which is a very basic necessity. ग्रामर आपका सही है, पंक्चुएशन आपके सही है, आपका सेंटेंस फॉर्मेशन अच्छा है, that is something which is very necessary, because at the end of the day you have to understand you are weaving a narrative, and that narrative which you are weaving, that has to be very engaging. If it is not engaging, then perhaps your narrative will not be appreciated by the examiner. So ultimately this goes without saying that the grammar and the vocabulary has to be polished. Now, when I talk about vocabulary, I'm not saying that you need to have very high level vocabulary. You don't need to have a very rosy level vocabulary. No, that is not what is required. However, yes, you need to ensure that whatever content you're expressing, that is expressive, that is in a simple language, very lucidly written, but at the end of the day, it has to be very, very effective. Effectiveness is very important. It has to create an impact in the mind of the examiner. Now, perhaps rote learning might have worked well for you in school, but will rote learning help you in essay writing for UPSC? Now, I don't deny the fact that ratification does help in terms of grasping content, whether it is for GS or whether it is for optional. And therefore, in essay writing, perhaps we require a lot of content which needs to be reproduced from our GS and optional paper. So therefore, yes, I don't deny that there is an element of rectification which will be very important and which will be very beneficial. But will only rectification work for the essay? Perhaps not. Then you need to understand that good communication skills. See, understand one thing, good communication skills. Now, good communication skills is something which is expected in the modern world. In 2025, in the 21st century, if you have to do a job, wherever you have to go, you are required to be very articulative. Your soft skills are also being tested, whether you are doing a government job or whether you're doing a private job, your soft skills will always be tested. And therefore having a good command over your language, not only in terms of speaking, but also in terms of writing is very important. Because understand one thing, your essay has to be very communicative. Your essay has to be very communicative, because you are not sitting over there in front of the examiner. It is your essay which is speaking about yourself. And your essay is also expressing about your personality, about your viewpoints, about your ideas. And shall we say that our writing, our way of writing also sort of portrays our whole background, how well we read, how decently well read we are, what is the psychology behind our content, what are our views, are we very extreme in views, are we very balanced in views. So therefore understand one thing, your essay has to speak, your essay has to be articulative. But sir, if only you have good communication skills, sir, will that guarantee me good marks? No sir, that will not guarantee you good marks. You might have very good verbal communication skills, but understand one thing, over here it is your non-verbal thing, because you're writing, you're not speaking. So your non-verbal communication skills have to be equally very impactful and very effective, so that they can have a lasting impact in the minds of the examiner. Now what does UPSC expect out of you? See, you are a graduate in maybe science, medical, non-medical, arts, commerce. UPSC is asking that, look, the minimum eligibility I'm asking for you people is that you have to be a graduate. Is UPSC asking for Oxford graduates? No sir, UPSC is not asking for Oxford graduates. Your 10th and 12th English marks, sir, do they guarantee your good marks in essay? No sir, they won't. The 10th and 12th English marks will help you in terms of writing sentences, in terms of having the ability to express yourself, but that also has to be backed by unique content, by what I call as unique content. See, understand one thing, what is popular will be consumed by all, but what is unique will not be consumed or represented by all. So understand one thing, you have to write unique content, not popular content, but unique content. So therefore, in order to write unique content, it is not that UPSC is asking you that you have to come from Oxford and Harvard, or your 10th and 12th English marks have to be exceptionally very good. No, you have to be decently well read. And let's understand one thing, you are already decently well read because you have to read so much, you have to study so much across the GS papers and across the optional. Understand one thing, the essay, the underlining theme in the essay will always address you towards some kind of a socio-economic scenario, whether the topic asked in the essay is thematic based, like governance, AI, democracy, nutrition, or whether the topic is philosophical. Now, these are certain themes-based essays. Now, in these themes-based essays, what you are going to get in the next, couple of weeks are 14 lectures, जहां पे मैंने ये theme-based essays को philosophical context में represent करा है. Philosophical context में मैंने उसको बनाया है, और philosophical quote-based context में मैंने ये theme को use करके आपके सामने essay रखा है. So ये particular themes होती हैं, जिसके आधार पे essays आते हैं. Now philosophical content, understand one thing, जो आपका philosophical topic के essays आते हैं, 2-4 टॉपिक्स देख लिए सर, फिलोसफी, अरे बात समझो, वो जो फिलोसफिकल टॉपिक है उसकी एक अंडरलाइंग थीम होती है, उसकी एक अंडरलाइंग थीम होती है. अब वो जो अंडरलाइंग थीम है, अंडरलाइंग थीम कुछ भी हो सकती है डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द टॉपिक. लेट्स से मैं बात करता हूं कि हैप्पीनेस इज द मीन्स टू एन एंड, हैप्पीनेस इज, और लेट्स से हैप्पीनेस इज अ चॉइस. Happiness is a choice. Let's say एक abstract topic आपको आ गया. Now when we say happiness is a choice, or happiness is a means to an end, or happiness is not an end in itself but happiness is a means, whatever it is, मैंने आपको ऐसे abstract form में बताया. Now understand one thing. Now in such a situation, can we also try to understand and think that if happiness की बात हो रही है, हम democracy और governance का dimension कैसे लेके आ सकते हैं happiness की बात में? हम एजुकेशन का डायमेंशन कैसे लेके आ सकते हैं हैप्पीनेस की बात पे? हम एग्रीकल्चर का डायमेंशन कैसे लेके आ सकते हैं अगर अंडरलाइंग थीम बात कर रही है कि हैप्पीनेस इज समथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट एन एंड इन इटसेल्फ बट अ मींस. सो देयरफॉर यू हैव टू बी वेरी स्मार्ट in terms of correlating different themes with the underlying essence of the topic, and therefore it is always good to have a multi-dimensional essay. Rules for essay writing: be convincing. Be convincing, not very rigidly in your arguments which you have written. Please, you understand one thing, that you have to convince the examiner about your stand, about your view, but not in a very rigid manner. It is not that you have to force the examiner कि सुन मेरी बात, मैं सही कह रहा हूं जो भी कह रहा हूं. Understand one thing, in this process, while expressing, please do not end up deviating from the topic. And don't try to interpret the topic as per your own convenience. No, that is not what is required. You have to know where and when you have to start and when you have to stop. please understand one thing, that an effective introduction is very important, and also very important is a very effective conclusion. So be rational, think like a bureaucrat. You are training yourself to be a bureaucrat. Therefore, a bureaucrat is expected to solve the problems. A bureaucrat is not expected to increase the problems. So if you're a prospective bureaucrat, think like a bureaucrat. Neither do we need to be very overly argumentative, nor we need to be very extra emotional. So we need to have balance and moderation in our content. Balance and moderation not only in content but in life is also very good. I'm sure you know about that. There might be 100 problems in India. Planes are crashing, wars are happening, corruption is happening, but does not mean that UPSC is waiting for you to come and solve all that thing. Please understand one thing, you don't need to write like a revolutionary. You don't need to write like a Marxist or some Naxal. You see, understand one thing, I don't mean to, demotivate any person, or I don't mean to, discourage anybody's ideology. But of course, understand one thing, you need to understand that you have to be a non-revolutionary. Revolution लेके आओ, system में आओ, IAS बनो, IPS बनो, definitely. But you bring in revolution through your actions, not by just saying that India is bad, everything is bad, this is bad, that is bad. No. And of course, try to incorporate some counter arguments as well. Try to incorporate some counter arguments as well within your essay. That is also very important. Now, please emphasize rules for writing the essay. Emphasize on the solutions. Please don't end up highlighting or raising the problems again and again. UPSC is not asking you to highlight the problems. UPSC is expecting you to address the solutions. Essay need not only be fact-centric. Let's say that global gender gap index में कुछ इंडिया का रैंक आया है, 131 आया है, आपने बस वो लिख दिया and you expect कि examiner impress हो जाएगा. No, you need to support the facts with examples, with analysis. That is also very important. Please understand, it is not only about quoting facts but also analysis. Do not force to paraphrase a quote. अगर आपको quotation याद नहीं आ रहा तो कोई बात नहीं, उसको आप ऐसे पैराफ्रेज मत करो कि आप गलत कोटेशन बता रहे हो. मतलब वो कोटेशन अगर आपको नहीं याद आ रहा तो मे बी आप उसको पैराफ्रेज करके कुछ समवट सिमिलर लिख सकते हो, बट डोंट ट्राई टू चेंज द ओरिएंटेशन ऑफ अ कोटेशन जो कि आप लिखना चाह रहे हो अगर आपको नहीं याद आ रहा. And let's say that the topic is talking to you about that social media is triggering a FOMO crisis amongst the youth. Now there is nothing wrong if you're conforming to the topic. Social media will have its own utility. Social media के अपने फायदे हैं, but there is nothing wrong अगर आप उस topic के साथ conform कर रहे हैं. Then okay, fine, I agree with this. There is nothing wrong in agreeing with the topic of the essay. It is not that if you end up agreeing with the topic of the essay तो आपकी personality या आपके viewpoints नहीं आ पाएंगे. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Try to bring in your viewpoints by agreeing with the tone of the topic as well. Alright, please understand one thing, that even if you want to narrate a story in the introduction, nothing wrong, that there is nothing wrong if you want to narrate a story from OTT, your personal story, maybe some anecdote from history, maybe some anecdote from newspapers you have read. It could be anything. But remember, coherence is the key. Remember, coherence is very, very important. Coherence is the key over here. Alright. Now, your effort is required. Of course, you will have access to a lot of content, mentorship sessions. Then you will also have your strategic live sessions as well. You will have strategic live sessions. In these strategic live sessions, we will work together. I will be discussing with you important techniques, important hacks for essay writing. So these strategic live sessions are very important because यहाँ पे पढ़ने को भी होगा, doubt resolution भी होगा. But of course, I require all of you to at least be regular in terms of reading your newspaper. Try to read at least 4 to 5 times your newspaper in a week. Try to read editorials, Indian Express, The Hindu. Try to get hold of summaries of Kurukshetra and Yojana. You can get that very easily online. We don't provide that. We used to, but now we don't. But you can get access to the summaries of Yojana and Kurukshetra through multiple portals. And please try to read. Let's say that I know that you're very busy reading your general studies books, but try to read certain books. You know, maybe like you can read for leisure purpose. You can read India after Gandhi, right? You can read India after Gandhi just for your leisure purpose. India after Gandhi, or let's say you're reading about India's Way by Jay Shankar, or let's say you've read about Why Bharat Matters. So try to read some good books. Try to read some good biographies or autobiographies. It's always good to have a diversified reading with you because that will always help you in terms of generating content. And remember one thing, that you will never ever fall short of content. Please don't say that I don't have content with me. यार इतना general studies और optional पढ़ रहे हो, current affairs पढ़ रहे हो, you can never ever fall short of content. So please understand one thing, content scarcity will never happen. More on to the next video. Thank you.